Hi everyone, welcome to the Fundamentals of Java video series. In this video, I'll give you an overview of some fundamental Java concepts and introduce you to the Java language. My name is Yash and I will be your guide for learning Java in the next few videos. Java is my favorite subject and I hope by the end of this class it will be yours as well. Let's get started. What is Java? When you ask what Java is, the most likely answer you're going to get is it's an object-oriented, platform-independent programming language. But what does all that mean? What is object-oriented? What is platform independence? And what is a programming language? Let's break it down and try to understand each of these terms. Let's first understand what a language is. I am speaking to you now in the English language. English is the only language that I know, so if anyone wants to talk to me, they have to know English. In order for any two people to talk to each other, both of them have to know a common language. In order to speak a language, you have to learn both the grammar and vocabulary of that language. In order to learn the Java language, we have to learn the grammar and vocabulary of Java. Does that make sense? Now, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between languages like English or Spanish versus Java? Well, English and Spanish are languages humans use to talk to each other. Java is a language that humans use to talk to a computer. Like I said earlier, if you want to talk to the guy next to you, you will most likely use English. Now, if you want to talk to aliens, you need to learn an alien language. If you want to talk to the computer, then you may want to learn a language like Java, C++, or Python. A language that is used to provide instructions to a computer is called a programming language, and that's why we call Java a programming language. We now know that we need to learn Java to talk to a computer. But how do we do the talking? We have to write a program. A program is a file with a set of steps written in a programming language like Java to tell the computer what to do. In Java, a program is a .java file. Any Java program that you write should be in a file with a .java extension. In the next lesson, we will see how to have the computer say hello using Java. I hope you are now clear on what a programming language is. Now, Java is not any programming language. It's an object-oriented programming language. When you take an object-oriented design approach, you model everything in Java like real-life objects. We are in a classroom right now, so we can model this as a Java class called Classroom. You guys are students, and we can model you as a Java class called Student. Everything in Java is visualized and modeled as classes and objects. Attributes and methods are used to model the properties and behaviors of classes. Creating classes with attributes and methods to design and develop programs helps to encapsulate complexity. Let's look at an example to understand this better. Everyone loves dogs. Let's say you've been given a job with the Humane Society. You have to write a Java application to help them advertise all the dogs they have for adoption. How will you model this in Java? First, you will create a class called dog. Every dog that they have will be treated as one object of the dog class. In this slide, you see our dog class. Do you see that we have 3 dogs? That's why we create 3 objects of the dog class. Since each dog is unique, we have to create an object of the dog class for each one of them. In the last slide, we created 3 objects of the dog class. In this slide, we will see how to store information about each object. Here is one of the 3 dogs. Let's say his name is Bluebell because he has blue eyes and he likes to wear a bell. And let's say he is a beagle, a large dog, and 6 years old. These are all attributes of the dog Bluebell. We store all these attributes as fields in the dog class. Now what do dogs do? They eat and run and sleep, and go for walks and play. All of these behaviors of dogs are modeled as methods of the dog class. Here's a slide that puts everything together. We have a dog class with some fields and methods. The fields describe the attributes of the dog, and the methods describe its behavior. We have 3 objects of the dog class. Each one has its own copy of all the fields, like the breed, size, color, and age. Let's summarize what we learned so far. Since Java is an object-oriented programming language, everything in Java is modeled as classes and objects. We designed a dog class, which is nothing but a template or a blueprint from which we made multiple dog objects. We defined properties and methods of the dog class using fields and methods. For now, I would encourage you to think of a class as a user-defined data type. but I understand it may not make complete sense at this time. For now, just get used to the idea. When we cover data types in a future lesson, we will look at fundamental data types, derived data types, and user-defined data types, and this will make more sense then. Like we saw earlier, an object is an instance of a class. Dog1 object is an instance of the dog class. The state of an object is stored in fields and behavior is shown via methods. That explains why Java is an object-oriented programming language. It's because everything in Java is modeled as classes and objects. I know we went into a lot of detail, but I hope it makes the concept clear. Another unique aspect about Java is its platform independence. Let's learn about that next. Usually when you write code in a language, the code will only run on one operating system, the operating system for which you compile the code. But with Java, you can write once and run anywhere. Let's look into the details on how Java does this and why this is so useful to have. To understand Java's platform independence, we have to first understand how code is written and executed in other languages. Before Java came into existence, people were using procedural languages like C and object-oriented languages like C++. In these languages, first you would write your code in a program file. You would then call the compiler and pass your file to the compiler. A compiler is a software that converts source code into machine language that the computer can understand. Let's say you wrote your code in C. You will call the C compiler. The compiler will then translate your code into an executable file that can run on a specific operating system. You would have to compile your code again and again in every operating system you want it to run on. This is how other language compilers work. But with Java, it works differently. You take your source code file, which is a .java file, and you pass it to the Java compiler. The compiler does not create an executable file. Instead, it creates a .class file. The Java runtime environment will have an operating system specific Java virtual machine that can then run the instructions in your .class file. How does Java do this? It does this by using bytecode and the JVM, or Java Virtual Machine. The bytecode or your .class file generated by the Java compiler is platform independent. JVMs are available for each operating system. The platform-independent JVM will take the platform-independent class file and execute it for the given operating system. This is how Java gives you platform independence. This helps when you want to write your own code and run it anywhere without having to recompile it for each operating system. You also have JIT compilers that help speed up this process for the JVMs. Isn't that pretty cool? We have now covered the basics of what is Java. You don't have to remember everything we went through, but just know that Java is an object-oriented, platform-independent programming language. Next, let's look at what an IDE is. An IDE is an integrated development environment. It provides you with tools that simplify writing and testing code. They help autocomplete your code for you and help debug your code as well. There are many great IDEs available to use with Java. There is Dr. Java, which is very lightweight. For more features like enterprise integration, Visual Studio and Eclipse are great. For an easy and fully online option, REPL.it works great. A few more terms we should know before getting started with Java coding: Jdk and Jre. If you're a Java developer, you would want to download and install Jdk or the Java Development Kit. This is free and you can download it from Oracle. This will contain everything a developer needs to set up Java and developing and running programs. On the other hand, if you use an online IDE like REPL.it, you can avoid these steps. Now, if you're not a developer but you just want to run Java programs written by others, you just need a JRE or the Java Runtime Environment, which gives you the JVM and the libraries you need to run the Java programs. In this video, we covered some basic Java concepts and an introduction to the Java language. It's okay if you did not get every concept we discussed today. Come back and watch this video after you have spent a few months coding in Java. Many of these topics will make a lot more sense then. You're ready to move on to the next lesson and start coding some simple Java programs. If you have any questions, please post in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Thank you for watching.